Greetings, welcome, and thank you for coming. Welcome to the Godmother's podcast. I am the Godmother. Who and what does that mean? Well, I am here to nourish your mind, body, and soul. So much negativity in the world, so much going on. I don't want to add to that. I want to add to actually being an inspiration to someone that motivates them to do something, that encourages them to continue going and be right there by your side where you apply your own discipline and determination to say, this is what I want to do. That looks different in many ways. Ultimately, I'm here to show that I care and I give a damn. For those of you that are new, welcome. And thank you for blessing us with your presence. Please, if you have not, like, comment, subscribe, and please share. My returner, thank you. I so appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have not. So, once again, what I have stated is that I'm explaining who the Godmother is. It is the essence of who I am, a person that nurtures, and shows compassion for another, well-being, wanting them to succeed, wanting them to be able to achieve any goals and dreams that they have. Give them a hug and embrace them and let them know they're not alone. Show them some genuine love. And I realize there's not a lot of people out there that have someone in their either support system or in their environment that actually does that. Me, myself, in my neighborhood, individuals navigate to me. And I am so embracing and welcoming because at the end of the day, whatever it is that they see in me, that they can feel a safe haven of trust and be also feel as though that they can be able to get some advice, knowledge, information. Absolutely. I'm here. And after many years of being able to share that, I decided to take on this project of getting my podcast out the ground. And so I have many videos on my channel. So please, for those that are new, check them out. My content on my podcast range from many different things, but they are topics based around uplifting, informing, and being supportive to the society out there. And that comes in different ways. I myself, the Godmother, I am an artist, I am an author, I am an event planner, I am a motivational speaker. In addition, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a grandmother. Okay? So I have all of these titles that I hold. At the end of the day, my point is that with the knowledge that I hold, this is my way of giving back to be able to say, let me share these good words that somebody or this message can be able to help at least one person and they can pass it along. And that's what I'm here for. Those of you who have been to my podcast many times know it don't go without having me some tea or something to drink. Now, toward the end of the episode, I'll share with others that are new what acronym I have created for T that I'm always going to be able to share with you all. But in the meantime, just for those that would like to know, this is some lemongrass tea with some peppermint. Cheers. Now, as I stated before, I am an artist. You actually can access my website through my bio, Creative Productions. I'm actually an author. And I have several publications out, one being a self help book, one being a fiction book, several journals that actually do not have blank pages inside, but yet have prompted entries for you to be able to add to them and record on a daily basis. And they are without years on them, so they can be used timeless. Great gifts for male and female. In addition to my journals, I have a triple moon goddess set journal that is available that takes you throughout the year in a three-part journaling session. And it represents the triple moon goddess for my spiritual community out here. I know you understand what that means. Check it out. These publications are available on Amazon. Please check out my bio. Any questions, email me. Now, I'm taking today and this lovely Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to tell you something. I get my teachings in. When I'm walking, I'm listening to content of creators that I follow that are meaningful, right? No shade to anybody else, but at the end of the day, I am at an age to where it's that I got to get to doing things. And so, how I get to doing things is continue to always learn how to do things because I have a vision. And you can see some of it, but that's my vision. I have a whole whiteboard. And this beautiful lady, you know who she is, part of my art. But my thing is this is that the ones that I follow and listen to their content, I'm learning. And I'm so thankful of the information. I recently just started following Dr. Yaki, young brother. I appreciate your presence on this range. Okay? And I have just begun to follow you, so I could just imagine within a time I'm going to grow even more fonder. You've heard me talk about Queen of Four. Man, blessing, blessing, much respect, all hail. With these type of gems, jewels, and valuable assets out here, we got to take heed to what they're doing. And it's many of them. And so it brings me to the topic that I chose to talk about today. And I'm about to get deep. For those of you all who understand what I'm talking about, you're going to relate. But if you go back to my episode that I titled My 2026 Agenda, okay? When it comes to my circle, right? The people that I surround myself around, individuals that have that immediate access to me, I promise you, we are doing building and lifting. If we're not doing that, they're not really connected to me. They're receiving my messages and they're basically doing what they can do on their end. But my point is this is that I don't, I choose not to waste any more of my energy, right? And so when it comes to even down to making these videos, I know it's resonating with someone because the truth of the matter is that everybody everywhere is not engaging in meaningful conversations or having them conversations that need to be had so we could talk about what really needs to be talked about so we could do what really needs to be done. And I ain't talking about just what we're going to do for the weekend and what we're going to wear. That's all I'm saying. So I have decided to title this video called Who's Coming to Dinner? There's an actual movie called Who's Coming to Dinner? And there's some messages in there. Now, it's a throwback. Black and white. I think it is a color. It might be both versions, but nevertheless, check it out. There's so many messages that are hidden in so many places that if you don't take the time to receive it, you won't get it. But nevertheless, we've heard many people say, or we've heard this phrase of, what do you bring to the table? Right? Okay. So we have who's coming to dinner, what do you bring to the table, and who fixed your plate, and who cooked that? Where I'm going is that at the end of the day, the table I sit at, I created. I bought, I made. I am inviting selective ones to sit at my table because everybody ain't ready. That's just the truth. The message is for everyone to hear, but everybody ain't ready to sit at that table. And so I've been doing some thinking and I thought about, I said, okay, when I think about those questions, who coming to dinner and what do you bring to the table? So my invite extends to three basic generalizations of individuals that I'm looking for to come to my table. Now, it consists, just imagine a table and it's constructed of maybe let's just say four seats, right? Think about the directions north, south, east, west, and this is a table. Of course, I'm sitting at that table. Now, with the three generalizations of the individuals that I'm inviting to my table, consist of an engineer, a carpenter, and a farmer. I myself, the architect, the visionary. Now we know that all of those can be general, right? Yes. But that's what I mean because everybody has use when you have that skill for whatever it's worth. And I went to doing some research and some digging, and I realized that, and before I even did the research, this is what my vision was telling me. Because remember, I got colony, the colony. I told y'all in a few videos back, I'm building here. Everything starts with an idea. There's a quote that goes, you will not bear the fruit the same day you plant the seed. There's a process. Things have to be done. Task, to-do list. So when I say that I'm building, I'm serious. It's just not for joke or content. It's for real. Even down to what I actually spend my energy and time watching on the media. We're going about it, well, many of us are going about it the wrong way. All of this access can get so many people overloaded, they don't know which way to go. That's why I got to put my plug in. My book, Set Your Ship to Sail. It helps you create your own guidelines so that you could be able to make those steps to get to where it is you're going. Trust me, I used it myself. So back to who's coming to dinner and what do you bring to the table? So we break it down. The engineer. So you know what? I did a little research. And I said, okay, because I know that the engineer gets quite, it is general, there's different types of engineer. But when you understand the level of, as far as me wanting an engineer, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. That's what, you know what I'm saying, an engineer is. Now, before I go into the definition of an engineer, remember, I stated I'm inviting to my table, as the table I have is around with 4 seats, even though we're being general. And I represent a broad range as well, but I'm sitting at the table. I am the architect. I am looking for the engineer. I am looking for the carpenter, and I am looking for the farmer. I have invited them to dinner. What do they bring to the table? Prior to me even doing the research, it was a question that was brought to me, and I decided to answer it. And so, with answering it, I said, okay, what does that mean? And so I did my little research. And what I realized is that I created what you could call my own self sustaining ecosystem. And I didn't know that I was doing it verbatimly, but ultimately, that was the aim. And I promise you, I'm just going off the heart. Also, there's knowledge in there that a lot of times I don't even know it's in there. It just comes to me. Okay? Time out for the bull crap. When we know that there was nothing that started, and when you look at what is amongst us now, don't sit there and tell me what is not able to be done. I don't care if it's already being done. I'm talking about me. Because there's some out there who haven't did it, and trust me, if you are amongst the ones that I said that I'm inviting to the table, come on, I welcome you. And that's what I want to do. Let's break that down. So, with my vision, because it's basically a visionary matrix that I have created based off of what I know that the colony will be, because that's what we need. It's ones out there doing them. And when I say those are my teachers, yes, come on now. The money that we are spending, man, if it's not going to make sure that it benefits at least 2 generations behind us, what are we doing? Besides the everyday and daily basic bills that we have to pay, what else are we working and making the money for? Me, myself, I have that plan. And I'm inviting the engineer, the carpenter, the farmer to dinner. What do they bring to the table? Well, let's see. So, of course, I said engineer. And engineer is more, you know what I'm saying, general. And so it says an engineer, and this is the definition that AI gives you: a professional who applies scientific, mathematical, and practical knowledge to invent, design, build, and maintain structures, machines, systems, and processes. Let me say that again. An engineer is a professional who applies scientific, mathematical, and practical knowledge to invent, design, build, and maintain structures, machines, systems, and processes. Now, there's several type of engineers, which was new to me. I kept it broad and general because I knew that I needed that professional with that type of knowledge. At the end of the day, there's more specific types of those engineers. And these are, they have civil engineers, they have mechanical engineers, they have electrical engineers, they have software computer engineers, they have aerospace engineers. Now, the thing is, this is that my question is, and I know that I asked, They state that the electrical engineers are basically the experts. And you know what I mean? They have, to where is it that they have specifics, you know what I mean? And so you kind of see where I'm going with it, to say, okay, well, the engineer has to be invited to the table because look at the knowledge that he brings. Now, of course, with the knowledge of how to do stuff, is he not going to know what supplies and what to do? Of course. Of course. So the thing is this, is that when we sit there and and I think about the table that I'm inviting ones to dinner to, it goes back to the motto and the affirmation that I have. My motto, and going back to my 2026 agenda, I lift as I climb and I build as I dialogue. It's time out for bullcrap. Really. What does that mean? Wasting time on bullshit. You notice time don't stop, but we behind. With all the knowledge, the wisdom becomes present when we do something with it. I just finished watching a video of content off of Michi X podcast, and Michi X is another one that I follow. In addition to 19 Keys, in addition to EYL, in addition to Dr. Boyce Watkins, in addition to Billy Carson, these are the teachers that's actually giving us the knowledge for free, not charging us hundreds of $1,000s to go to college to get it. What are we doing with it? Well, I'm starting with this. And so I'm aligning with individuals who are on the same page, that are like-minded and want to build too. And so that's what prompted this video. Who's coming to dinner? Okay, so we got our engineer, right? So with the engineer, I stated that sitting at the table, we also talked about that there's more than one engineer, which I just didn't know, and I found out. And I'm so glad that I know about that now. So now the thing is this, is that the next person I wanted. You remember what I said? Yeah, the carpenter. According to AI, a carpenter is a skilled tradesman who constructs, installs, and repairs building frameworks and structures made from wood and other materials. Say that again. A carpenter is a skilled tradesman who constructs, installs, and repairs building frameworks and structures made from wood and other materials. So now, with me inviting them to the table, common sense shouldn't have to have you show up to know what for. What do they bring? They skill. They know what materials to use. They know how to construct in ways to do it. Because remember, we got the engineer who then created a blueprint, who's basically let them know that, yes, I have this knowledge as well of infrastructures and building and maintaining. But it's more of connecting the dots, where you got that carpenter is actually doing the work. When I was going to school, one of the subjects that was available to us was woodwork. I'm so mad that I did not want to go there. I chose home economics. That's why I'm so domesticated. But the home economics part that was really important is, as you got older, you realized that it was about budgeting and maintaining. Now, the woodwork, and it's interesting because in high school, if I don't remember, it was selective. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but nevertheless, we had swing and all these things. The truth of the matter is, these are the things that we should have had in our curriculum, mandatory. So once again, we're talking about my table and who I've invited to dinner. The carpenter. Why not? Duh. Come on now. And I've watched enough HGTV programs to where I say that's a skill that once you learn it, there's no way that you should be homeless or cashless without income. You can build with your hands. The knowledge is restored and is also a form of artistry. And then it can move higher on to other levels where the skill can enhance. Why inviting them to dinner? Why the hell not? We got shit to do. Me and my girl, we got shit to do. Okay. So now we got this table, and we have me, the visionary architect at the table. We got the engineer. We got the carpenter. What's the last one I said? The farmer. That's another industry that I'm not knowledgeable on, but the farmers, they are. According to Wikipedia, it's a person engaged in agriculture raising living organisms of food and raw materials. We need someone, or we need farmers who know how to tend to the land to grow our food and our plants. We missed the mark on this one. They got our asses with giving us the food that they given us, and we were not thinking. Most of the grandmamas and big mamas had gardens and farms. We supposed to have follow suit on that just like we do washing dishes. And we didn't. So wait a minute. I'm inviting a farmer, and we know that the farmer is who do combinations of field crops, orchards, vineyards, poultry, and other livestock. They're engaged in agriculture, raising living organisms for food or raw material. So now, what do they bring to the table? A knowledge of how to grow our own food. Back in scripture, they talked about the carpenter, the fisherman, the shepherd. We really miss sight on the importance of these individuals. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the clergymen or the wise counsels or the advisors, they didn't mean. I'm not stating that. I'm putting attention on these individuals because understanding and going back to my vision, when I'm sitting up here saying how I want to invite people to dinner, and this was the individuals I wanted to invite to dinner based off a generalization. The engineer, the carpenter, and the farmer not even realize that I've just created my own ecosystem, self-sustaining ecosystem that goes back to this college. Long time ago, I used to wonder. I've stayed with many people in my life, right? And because I stayed with many people in my life, played a big part as why I really bend over and go backwards for making sure that I maintain a roof over my head. In the same token of that, it also plays close to my heart to where is it that I always want to be able to, if in need, and I am able to help an individual to give them that sense of safety of a secure and comforting home. The truth of the matter is that it gets even deeper than that because when you realize what's going on in this world, in society, the truth behind the veils, the oppressors who control the oppressed, we got to do more than just that. And so that's why I say I'm building. Of course, I'm going to connect. Right now, I'm following individuals and I'm constructing plans and creating. Because, yes, it's individuals out there right now who are welcoming individuals to come and come to their place where they've created what it is that I'm building. At the same token, I'm still going to focus on building mine because this is what's important. This is also about my lineage and about generational legacy. Not so much as wealth, because yes, wealth is going to be in there, but to be able to create the foundation to leave, yes. I've heard a lot of content creators speak on the STEM program and how it's important, how we need more of our community in those industries. I agree. When you have the curriculum basis so much study, schooling, courses, classes, money spent, financial dependencies, it makes individuals discouraged to go the path to learning. So I'm not going to discourage going and continuing education, but I'm not going to necessarily encourage continuing education. But what I will promote and advocate is that there are many platforms out here that are teaching so many things that you have to spend so much more money on that you could be able to take one of the courses. Because remember, I come from an era where is it that we learn to scan, highlight, and pay attention to bold. Everything else is just supporting. But when you understand the basis of those bold contexts, you understand that is what is need to be learning. Everything else is just filling in so you can have long duration of learning. But the truth of the matter is that we learn to scan for a reason, and a lot of these media access is just that. Take notes, do your research, but learn. That's exactly where I'm at. What prompted addition to me with this video, when I was looking at the video and content on the Michi X podcast, the gentleman was speaking of what do you bring to the table? I love that I'm the individual that actually will spark the conversation and talk about things that normally we wouldn't talk about if we just chilling. I don't care who's fucking who. I don't care who looks good. I don't care who got into a fight with Mary Jo over Steven yesterday. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you mean to tell me that Steven's father has a plaza that they're selling and they're looking for. Why we ain't talking about that? Or Mary Jo, she's the actual owner of a resource center that she rents out. We don't talk about that. See, that's what I mean by building. We all got shadows and we all got things in the closet, but we all got gifts, baby, too. And we all got plus and gifts and things that we can bring to the table, skills, strategies, methods, professions, arts, knowledge, information. And so that's who I'm inviting to dinner. Because I've already got a plan. I just need help. And I'm not afraid to say I need help. And I'm aligning with the individuals that I know is meant to come my way. It took me a long time to get to this state, right? It took me a very long time. And the thing is this is that this just confirmed it. My spirit speaks to me so heavily that when I've had a whole experience today, and I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. To where is it that my intuition is strong and I pay attention and I listen. Sometimes when your anxiety is high and your hypertension is high, it gets confusing and you can misinterpret intuition with paranoia, right? But I love when my soul speaks to me. And when it talked about who's coming to dinner, it made me think about who you ride shotgun with. And I did a video on this a while back too. But who I'm inviting to dinner. See, when it comes down to the respect or who that you have the interest in, and think about you just don't invite anybody to your table to eat. That means you have a highly respect for them and you want to get to know them better for whatever reason it is. And it starts with being able to be open and embracing and welcoming and say, guess what? I would like to develop a relationship. And it always has to have a meaning. In my case, and I've had my colony planned up for 5 years. Okay? When I actually asked advice based off of the vision that I was given, I did not expect it to say the self-sustaining ecosystem, but it makes sense because that's exactly where I was going. And so now I know how to title it right. I want to be able to have the land where we can be able to have all of the resources that we need to sustain and maintain living. And I know with those type of individuals, how do we go wrong? I know who I'm inviting and I know what they bring to the table. I brought the table. I made the table. And now you've been invited. I look forward to this meal. It's going to be amazing and delicious. And we're going to definitely get fulfilled. Well, you know what? For those of you who don't know, normally when I get closer to ending, you know what I mean, my message in my podcast, I normally talk about my tea. I like to spill my tea. So, for those of you who are new and don't know what tea means T stands for thankful, E stands for experience, and A stands for accomplishment. And so, what I like to do is that I like to share my tea with you all. And please be welcome to share your tea in the comments or share your tea with someone else. So, now I'm going to start with thankfulness. With some of the weather, we've been having a lot of hard rain. And I must say that I have to be thankful. I have not had to experience any flooding in the last 2 weeks. I am thankful. I have been very proactive and preventative, but I want to just give thanks because my proactive and preventative measures and methods, even though they can be annoying at times and overwhelming, it feels so much better than having to clean up after a flooding. Even though I'm still going through this issue in my unit, I'm thankful that I have not had to deal with that due to my preventative and proactive methods. So, where it might not be much to many, it means a lot, right? Okay, so my experience. I'm going to share my experience because it literally happened prior to me making my content for today. Okay, so mind you, I had went outside, actually went to the store, came back and noticed that there was a package at my unit when it actually belonged to another unit. Come to find out that, I found out it was somebody else's unit. So I went on ahead and took it to the unit. The thing is this is that I'm in a little bit of a hurry because I want to be able to create my content and then be able to say, okay, I'm done so I can move on to my next task for the day. Not trying to be funny. And the individual that I was passing their package to, you could tell they wanted to be a little bit interactive. Now, I was in need of a favor and not really knowing where I would get this favor from. So I come back and I'm getting ready to make my content, and I forget to put my phone on mute. I get the call. I go ahead and I answer it, realizing that the individual that I had gave the package to needed me to do them a favor. That coincided with the favor I needed. And I said, well, look at there. Now, my experience is that even with me moving hasty, I had already called on the universe to assist me with this favor because I knew that I needed help. But I did not want to place myself in such a stressed place where it's that I'm just trying to figure out what to do. So, me wanting to put my energy into something positive, I want to make my content. But the universe is intervening and let me know I have handled your favor. But I'm moving too hasty. And then I realized and I stopped. I promise y'all, the task to do the favor and come back took less than 15 minutes. I received that because I've always got the message to let go and flow. Remember my acronym for flow? Follow lead of wisdom. I move so hasty sometimes that I want to have control that the higher powers say, you know what? Let it go. We got it. And that experience made me recall it because it was like, wow, I received that. I I received that. Man, okay, my accomplishment. So I've had some issues with getting, my royalties because of the bank account that I was working with. And due to whatever issues on the end of the distributor of my royalties caused me that I had to get another bank account. I am so thankful that I was able to take care of that and accomplish me another secured account to where it's that I wouldn't even have to worry about that. I said, you know what? And I'm a little bit more cautious with even jumping into new things, but I went ahead and I stepped out on faith because at the end of the day, I have access. It's like in an umbrella where I have different things that I need pertaining to my life that I have under this umbrella, and it worked out for me. So my accomplishment is that I stepped out on faith, knowing that I was not as confident or comfortable with this process, and it worked out in my favor. That's my tea. I thank you all for staying here with me. And remember, my message that I brought today, if it was not for you, pass it to somebody. But I want all of us to really think about who we are spending our time with and who are we giving our energy to and who are you inviting over for dinner? Who do you invite to your table? What do they bring to the table? If it's not benefiting a big picture that you know that is meaningful for you in your life, why are you wasting time? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. This is the Godmother. I so appreciate you tuning in with me today. If you have not, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. If you have already, I appreciate it. Please share it with somebody. You know what I mean? I hope to see you again on the next one. I thank you in advance. This is my message for today. Thank you for joining me on the Godmother podcast. Until we meet again, be safe and have an amazing day.